Hi, Jason. Thank you for agreeing to come on this call with me and just talk about the positive impact we've had on each other's business in the past 5 years that we've known each other.
Thank you, Antoinette. I was really looking forward to this today. So thanks for asking me.
Do you have any questions that you want to ask me about how I feel?
Well, I remember back in the days of pre-lockdown when we were working together at business coaching. We used to meet as we did in those times, in a cafe over coffee. Uh, Thinking back, can you remember why you were feeling stuck with your busy translation business and what challenges you had at that time?
Yes, I can. Okay, the main challenge I faced at that time was I'd been a translator for 11 years. Before that, I'd been a teacher, and I'd got to a point where I could see a downward trend in that industry with the advent of machine translation and the rates starting to go down as we were asked to do increasing amount of post-editing work. And I thought, what else could I do? And how else could I create? What other income stream could I create? That was one of the challenges. I was sort of in this fog of I don't know what else I can do with my skills, and I needed some advice. I also had worked from home for many years, and at that point, I'd just got an office in Hove, and I was really enjoying having a couple of days a week out the office. And it was nice being around other professionals because translation is a very lonely business. So those were the main things. I wanted more human interaction in my work, and I wanted to do something different but complementary that suited my skills.
Oh, interesting. So you remember those days well, and what led to changing your business in the way that you've changed it. And can you also think about what inspired you to choose me as your business coach at the time?
Well, at the time, I didn't really know there was such a thing. And one of the women in my office suggested, I was saying to her, I'd like to do more networking. I'd like to do something slightly different, evolve my business in some way, but I don't know what to do. And I think she was in another networking group with you. And she said, oh, you need to speak to Jason. So she put me in touch with you. I went on your website and I was impressed with your website. And then I contacted you and you were very responsive and we booked our first meeting. And it was really from that point, it was when I met you, I think, I just thought I trust him. I think he really knows his stuff. And you explained how you work with your clients. And I thought, yes, this is a journey I want to go on. And it felt very much like that, like I was about to embark on a very exciting journey. But I had your guidance and support. So I wasn't sort of going off on my own on a tangent.
Oh, thank you. And we worked together for more than a year. I enjoyed it very much. I was wondering, from your perspective, Antoinette, what were the top benefits, say the top five benefits, for example, of the experience?
Well, I think the biggest thing that happened when I worked with you is you changed the way I think, and that's had a lasting effect even to this day. So when I think about sort of self-doubt, or I think, oh, should I do that? Is that a good idea? I do have a lot of your words in my head because there's a lot of naysayers out there that you might say new ideas to. And no one had ever challenged my thinking in that way, but it was very subtle but very powerful. And even to this day, I have three questions that you pose to me running through my head, which are very powerful. And that's number one, what's stopping you?
Oh,
Because often it's me. And that's what I learned by working with you, that often I'm the barrier with my self-limit, false and self-limiting beliefs. Number two was, what are you going to start saying no to? And I'm still very mindful of that. So if I feel in some way overwhelmed or I'm not being efficient, I sort of take a step back and look, what can I say no to? What do I need to start saying no to? And another thing, the third thing was, it's not about how you feel, Antoine. I am a bit heart led. And in business, obviously, I need to think with my head a bit more than my heart, try and find a compromise between the two. So those three statements, very powerful.
wow.
You also taught me to understand myself better through the personality profiling, which has also really helped me working in business understand other people's personalities. And that was really revolutionary, and that just changed everything. And now I understand where my strengths lie, what my weaknesses are, and so I might outsource certain things that I know I'm never going to enjoy, like bookkeeping. That was really good. And then also another benefit, you introduced me to networking, which I'd never done. And I mean, now networking is a huge part of my business, and so much work that I do comes through networking. So that's been, I would say, the main benefits I've received from working with you.
Oh, thank you, Antoinette.
You're welcome. Okay, so I'm going to
And
ask you questions, Jason.
I was just wondering if there's anything that you're curious about that you'd like to ask.
Yes, so I'm curious about back in 2018 when we started working together. What made you suggest copywriting as an additional income stream for me?
Well, I think the first thing to say is it wasn't a quick suggestion that took 5 minutes and, oh, yes, do that. It's really important for me to listen very carefully to a client, to you, and to learn about your personality, your natural strengths and talents, but also in particular what you want. Where are you now? And what did you want? And I know that you had a passion for words. And I also noticed that as a translator, you have to, or not have to, but you do work to a very high standard. It's not something that you do 80%. Translation is something that you excel in and has to be just right. And it seemed to be the main missing link for you was direct contact with clients. So you were getting most of your work through translation agencies, which is, I understand, the way the industry mostly works. And I knew there was a big demand for copywriting. Of course, I had a lot of clients, small business owner clients, and I was very busy networking. And I knew that there would be a high demand for it. You would have a passion for it, and it would provide you with the aspects that you were not, that client contact that you were not having in your current business.
Okay, fantastic. Yeah, well, you were spot on, weren't you? So well done. And of all the copywriters you know, why did you choose me specifically to write your blogs?
Oh, yes. So more recently, I've been your client and you've been writing content for me. Well, I know a number of copywriters, including clients and from networking. And I worked with a copywriter closely for over a year. And very nice person and very enthusiastic. But I found that the content I was being sent required editing, correcting factual inaccuracies, me suggesting and so on. And I worked out I was spending a couple of hours on every single bit of content I was being sent. And I kind of started to accept that that was normal until one day I got a bit fed up. I think I got to my 10th hour editing the work I'd been sent. And I realized that I'd perhaps made the mistake of buying on price and not on quality, which is something I tell my clients all the time. But of course, so then I thought, well, what's the answer? And I realized it was right in front of my nose. There you were. I'd worked with you for a long time as my client. I knew you very well. And the experience of receiving your content is completely different. I think on the very first piece of content, I suggested a couple of minor changes. And then subsequently to that, I haven't suggested any changes at all. So it's just like a completely a different experience.
Wow. Okay, that's brilliant. Thank you. And what impact have those blogs had on your business?
Well, my website SEO person that does that for me, we work closely together to put me high on Google searches. And prior to using your services, I was, for example, the Search Business Coach London, I was first, second, third, first, and sort of floating around there. He's since told me from looking at the analytics that after your blogs have kicked in with the Google bot on my website, I'm now firmly first on that search term, and I'm always first. And my clients search occasionally when I ask them, and they confirm I'm up there first. So that's a huge impact. Thank you. The other thing was over the bank holiday weekend we've just had, I got an inquiry from America actually, and the person said, "I've been reading one of your blogs and I really liked it. Are you taking any more clients?"
Oh, fantastic.
And they've since signed up for 6 months, an initial 6 months business coaching with me. So that's as a direct result of one of the blogs you've written.
Oh, I'm so pleased. That's amazing. Well, thank you for taking the time to have this conversation with me, Jason. And I look forward to catching up with you soon.
Yeah, and thank you, Antoinette. I've really enjoyed it.
Thank you.